Hirakumar, Soya, 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 Soya.
Welcome to Lesson 128 from NAMAS University, Earth's Spiritual University, the place and community that helps people develop under the guidance of their soul with the help and support of Shambhala. Today, in our announcements, we have 4 new books from NAMAS University. Stay tuned for exciting new works which include the art of teleportation. This is MISONAS, returning to encircle your mind with the direction and ideas from which we might co-create. Firstly, I come forward again and remind you of your responsibility to recognize that the dominion you have agreed to is a shared responsibility. That everything you are as physical being is directly or indirectly a result of the ancestral and current plant, mineral, and deva kingdoms. That whatever whole food you and others in the animal kingdoms consume, the clean water you partake of, the air you have that sustains you, are gifts through the plant kingdom. Foundational to the being of the aspect of the creation known to you as AMAYA are the plants that were here preparing the water and the earth for your late arrival. Your creation stories minimize the garden into which the animal kingdom and man arrived, but the story is encoded in a deep resonant language that your shamans, intuitives, and empaths have learned to hear and understand in part. Your presence in this audience demonstrates that you have chosen to learn, to listen, and follow this ancient story as it continues to unfold before us with guidance from teachers and those in firm connection to their soul, through which you made this agreement. In what might we set our attention to create anew? This is an ongoing process in negotiation. If this were a game, each player would have turned to build the new world following rules agreed to, but which are also negotiable and subject to change as opportunity is revealed. How does this opportunity come about? Humans are short-lived creatures. It is common that trees can live for hundreds of years, and some for thousands of years. The oldest tree is known to be 5,000 years old. Perhaps if you imagine yourself as a tree, humans are like small flies buzzing by, here now, then, gone in a second. This is to say trees live on a very different timelines. They have endured and persevered, spread and were pushed back over millions of years as AMAYA evolved. What do they remember? Other kingdoms, older human societies, and ancient peoples had some understanding of how the plant and tree-led systems provided for the beneficial environment of AMAYA. This understanding was incorporated within cultures, but maintained by ceremonies or simple practices, which hinted at a deeper, more intuitive understanding, as it was difficult to put such complexity into words. Deeper understanding was kept among the few shaman and priest leaders. For hundreds of thousands of years, early man's environment was integral with forest and jungle. However, this did not remain the case. Ignorance and hubris, as demonstrated by the fall of Atlantis, allowed the human kingdom to take for granted millennia-old systems, and so manipulated and used the systems to acquire wealth and status. Agriculture has a history of successes and failures due to hubris, misunderstanding of the long cycles of natural systems, and by desires by some to extract artificial wealth to create power. These efforts were often short-sighted. Humans, without guidance, think in terms of weeks, months, or perhaps years. Plants and their partners, minerals and water, understand from their collective experience many millennia. Misuse of plants and abuse of mineral soil by the powerful to enrich themselves for the short term have greatly reduced the savings bank of richness that natural systems have produced over the millennia. The failure of mighty kingdoms of old without apparent reason is likely due to the inability of those kings and their advisors to understand and yield to plants' needs and to form a deeper relationship with them. They did not perceive a changing world as their desire for power and riches overcame a duty to the future of their people. The Enlightenment intellectually skipped over lagging scientific knowledge and concluded that living things were mechanistic devices and removed the idea that living beings were animated by more than the material, and discounting of the soul as central to the meaningful existence. This resulted in a reductionist idea that the source of living systems did not play a part in the creation story. This thought system ran parallel in time to colonization, money, wealth extraction, and grabbing for peoples and lands by technologically advanced peoples. Introduction of money and confusion with money as wealth led to debt and the theft of productive lands and resources without reciprocity. Technical knowledge was substituted for wisdom, and greed was allowed to take hold. Are trees saying amongst themselves like kindly grandparents? Oh, the primates have followed us again. Beware! They know humans have shiny object syndrome, a seduction of pretty, artificial, and short-lived wealth resulting in consumerism, pollution, and poor health. They cannot fully trust we humans yet. We cut them down with little thought. We manipulate without wisdom. Examples abound. Many deserts have been made by man in ignorance of natural law. This has happened in the recent past, where thousands of hectares of forests were cut so that the water the trees needed could be diverted to the rivers and man-made reservoirs for industrial, drinking, or agricultural use. For the first few years, the water supply increased in the reservoir, but over time, the water supply decreased below the levels that existed when the forest was still there. Only then was it recognized that the seeming magic of trees is the capacity they have to bring and sustain the water. There was then an extraordinary effort to regrow the forests. Yet, are these the same as before? No. The complexity was severely damaged and the synergy destroyed. How long will it be until it is restored? Some of what was lost may not recover in the same way as before. For in the soil is a world most foreign to you larger creatures, an ecosystem that feeds, sustains others, and grows, powered by Solaris and cosmic light. In an interwoven dance of shade provided by pioneering plants, moisture is retained in the soil, allowing for mycorrhiza of the fungi and bacterial decomposition of the mineral soils for energy, and materials such as metals to accelerate growth, which they, in turn, give back to the trees as nutrients such as carbon and water, transported by the mycelium network from far away, which the trees then return to the fungi as sugars and water. These relationships include a type of communication and signaling using complex chemistry to encode needs and availability of resources. Different climates of the planet have provided unique local solutions to the challenges of an evolving planet. But is genetic manipulation of the plants and animals yet another short-term grab at wealth extraction? Change should not be viewed as undesirable. Change and evolution is a fundamental aspect of the universe. The universe is either in the breathing out or the breathing in. All is in and of motion. However, changes must be deeply considerate. Successful strategy requires the wisdom of all. And so, in the lesson 127, a systemic wobble was identified as being a way in which change can come about in the 3D manifestation. and we spoke of extensive collaboration on a new AMAYA. But now let us add the collective wobble of a collaborative system, a system of many. This must result in a synergy of effects. Synergy is a result unpredicted if only looking at the parts. It is the painter given over to the act of creative endeavor without thought, such as adding a powder to his paint to yield a desirable effect. Oh, what joy! Is this discovery or revelation? Or another example. In this, there are partners in the dance, wherein one makes a mistake and might then fall or injure themselves, but for the practiced athleticism, body wisdom of his partner, who instantly and without thought and with blinding speed moves and balances her fall, yielding a new exciting part to the dance. The error became possibility from close collaboration, dedicated attention, practice, and deep emotion of care. And the possibility then becomes the new choice. Our plant creatures have been doing this dance for millions of years. Their experiences are in the ancestral codes available to those who learn to access the information. Our NAMAS lectures have related that AMAYA was gifted with DNA from other worlds across the galaxy. This is possible because we have also said that DNA is a crystalline code, and we know crystals can be tuned to receive and transmit, such as in the first radios made by humans, employed crystals to tune to specific frequencies or wavelengths. And so, volunteer beings were transmitted to AMAYA through other dimensional channels and were manifested and incorporated into AMAYA's living beings. In this way, the planet Aldebaran contributed to the population of trees, which have been key to providing the environment in which other plants, the animal and human kingdoms were able to build upon and thrive. Can you imagine the love needed to have the conviction to volunteer for such a mission as to travel across the galaxy? DNA coding provided and continues to provide instructions for interacting with the mineral kingdom, which forms the rock and soil environments, and with the element water and Solaris's light produces a symphony of living systems. Minerals exposed by rain or earthquakes provide previously unavailable nutrients, resulting in growth and byproducts that can seem excessive, in which humans identify as hazards. These are seemingly hazardous in the short time frame of man, but the volume could cause downstream changes. Although in the short term this may upset the local environmental conditions for some, it also provides opportunities for new systems. Thus, the dancer begins to fall, but is supported up by the new. Thus, AMAYA evolves. While the intuitives, empaths, and sensitive among humans have been pointing at plants and trees as sentient beings, your scientists have been following this lead, and investigations into these perceptions provide 3D proof. The intuitives lead the way by showing that plants can sense many things beyond your understanding, even demonstrating in videos that trees will reach out, moving their branches and leaves toward humans who show recognition and reflect care back to them. And whereas intuitives will tell stories of receiving emotions and messages from trees, scientists are finding evidence that trees produce sounds, a language, in direct response to conditions, the presence of animals, including insects, and to individual people. Plants have a knowing beyond what humans currently can detect. This is the learned wisdom of ancestry. Do you choose to ally yourselves with the plant kingdom, animal kingdom, mineral kingdom, deva kingdom, and create, or continue to exploit them without reciprocity? Do humans choose to give back to the systems from which they receive so much? Is this in balance? Will humans assume the role of producing and adding to evolutionary progress by being a multiplier of the creation? Will humans continue to borrow against the children of all kingdoms' futures? How do you choose to continue your part in the dance? I, MISONAS, am honored to have shared with students some concepts of the co-creative possibility of universe from the perspective of the plant kingdom, and may return providing additional realizations as the need for encouragement arises. This lecture was received by Donald Raymond Flynn and spoken by him. We are excited to announce 4 new books from NAMAS University. Experience Akin Spiritually, a personal journey of discovery. The Sanat Kumara Speaks Book 10 by Martina, Violetta, Jung. Creatures and Worlds, Spiritual Art. Portal Art Book 2 by Martina, Violetta, Jung. Teleport to the New World with Ancestors in Light of the Lords. Teaching of the Lords, Book 3 by Kamal Agarwal. Heal yourself with light language. New mantras and portals for your personal development and healing. Healing Earth, Book 3 by Katarina Adari. Please see the links below the podcast for these exciting new books. We are also happy to announce the third art exhibition at ATELIER Martina, Violetta, Jung, December 6th and 7th, 2025. Come and enjoy portal paintings by Katerina Adari about the divine feminine and masculine, and by Martina Violetta Jung with the Sanat Kamara, titled Creatures and Worlds. All information is on namasartists.com website. Please see the link below the podcast.
Hirakumar, Soya,